Let me start off by saying that I am so thankful for this beautiful opportunity. It's something I've always dreamt of, to represent the TED community in however way possible and to start off that particular journey with my very own school. It's a surreal feeling. So thank you for that. Um, Moving on to why I'm here today. Well, I'm here to talk about my journey as to how I achieved my first and my most significant milestone ever. I'm going to keep the suspense for later on as to what that milestone was. But let me start off by asking you this one question. Have you ever felt that because of a certain personality trait that you possess, that it might hinder you from achieving your fullest potential? You know, a personality trait that you feel is a bottleneck, not because you believe so, but because others make you believe that way. Maybe you're too assertive, maybe you're too polite, maybe you're too funny, maybe you're too serious. A trait that makes other people feel that it won't let you reach heights. Well, I've always been the fun, happy-go-lucky, often from the naughtiest lot kind of a student. Grades, average. Extracurricular, above average. Personality, fun, cheerful, and not to be taken seriously. Or at least that's what they would claim so. I've always been the youngest in my family, and therefore my brothers would often pull my leg, as the Indian families go. And in when my brother got admitted to his school in first grade, in his English entrance exam, he wrote, "My sister is a Dumbo." My opinions were barely considered at dinner table conversations because how could a young girl who's always jumping around and dancing around would have anything substantial to say anyway, right? For most part of my life, I felt that I was stupid, that I was a dumbo. And then in 11th grade, I was told by a certain significant person in my academic circle that I won't be able to succeed because I wasn't smart enough. It was also the same time that I got introduced to the concept of vision boards and law of attraction. You know that feeling you get when you know you have it in you. You know that you have that power. You know that you have that caliber. But because of how others see you, how others label you, you tend to engage in that self-fulfilling prophecy. You tend to validate how they feel about you, and then you start behaving in that manner. I felt so stuck. I was feeling so frustrated back then that I decided to break free of it. In 12th grade, I created my first vision board. I added a picture of 100% at the center of it. Those were the marks I get, I told myself, which I never got, by the way. Beneath that, I added a picture of LSR, my dream college back then. And then a few additional things like long hair, slim waist, etc., etc. Well, I got 96.2% that year, and I got LSR. I mean, I didn't choose LSR because I had certain course preferences, but that's not the point. The point is that that year, it was the first time for quite a few things in my life. The first time I got such marks, because I never got such marks. The first time anyone in my family got such marks. The first time, the first time I was able to prove to the world that I was not a Dumbo. Because back then, sadly, our smartness was determined by the grades we got. And the first time I achieved my first and my most significant milestone, overcoming my self-doubt. Not because I got into a great college or because I had great marks, no. But because I just knew back then that I had put in so much of dedication, so much of hard work. And to finally see the fruit of it, it made me realize how truly extraordinary I can be, only if I saw myself through my lens and nobody else's. You see, you don't, you grow when what you think sort of connects with how you act. I had achieved my first milestone. But as they say, don't forget to tighten your helmet after you win your first battle. And that's exactly when I set out for my first self growth journey. I had so much in me that I wanted to say, so much in me that I wanted to share, so much in me that I wanted to prove to the larger world. But how can anyone do that in a vacuum, right? So I started seeking inspirations from great thinkers and entrepreneurs and change makers of the world. Michelle Obama, Tom Bilyeu, Vishen Lakhiani. I started reading their books. I started listening to their podcasts day in and day and night. I used to listen to their podcasts while I was in the shower. I used to listen to it while I was doing my dishes. I was obsessed to learn the codes on how I could bring my true, authentic version onto this world, how I could bring my own impression onto this world. I developed a habit of asking myself these three questions every day. One, how can I grow? You see, we're all a tiny, miny fraction of who we can become. At this moment, today, you're just a tiny fraction of who you can become. And so there's so much of more growth, so much of more scope left for you to grow and be that person you want to be. So how can I grow today? Number two, what can I give? In a world that's obsessed with taking and receiving, what can I give back in however small or big ways? And number three, what can I celebrate? Everyone is so stuck up on reaching the finishing line, on reaching the goal, and on being the person they want to be. But we often forget to celebrate the little accomplishments of our life, the little day to day celebrations that we often take for granted. So, what can I celebrate today? These three questions have changed my entire life and have made a drastic difference. My self growth journey has taken a new toll. It has given me new, different, myriad ways of expressing the things I really want to express now, of what I really want to bring to the world now. You see, you don't need a stage to make yourself heard. You don't. You just need to start somewhere, and the right people will come to see, and they will come to see what you have to hear, what you have to say. In 2020, when the entire world was shook with pandemic, when the entire world was experiencing a lull, this one fine evening, I was sitting in my balcony and I was listening to a podcast, as always. And a thought struck me. Well, all these speakers that I'm listening to, they are so inspiring, so amazing. But they've all made it to the top. They've all reached their goals. They've all reached the person they want to be. And now they get to talk about their journey. Now. But what about the people who are still starting off? What about the people who are still in the first half of their journey? I mean, one has all the more reasons to pick in the beginning, right? So I started my own community come podcast, The Midwife. For starters, I didn't know how I would do it. I had a full-time job that demanded 8 hours every day minimum. I didn't know how much creativity it would demand. I didn't know how much of technicalities I'll have to delve into since podcasts are technical and complex. But I started anyway. On top of that, I've always knew that I'm good at self-portraits, at posing in front of the camera. But to have a camera in front of me, to share my opinions with the larger world on social media, my confidence was far away. On top of that, that Dumbo little girl that always was in me started peeking out. What are people going to say? Are they going to think I'm being too fake? Are they going to think I'm being pretentious because I hadn't done something so thoughtful before? Because I hadn't done something smart enough on a public front? I started anyway. I took a diary. I wrote down four things: the name, the purpose, the target audience, and the content I'd like to put out. I went onto Instagram and reserved the name The Midwife. And since then, there has been no turning back. My life has changed 180 degrees because of it. I've been invited to talk shows, panel discussions, to judge for contests in my college, and finally a TED talk for my very own school. Life is indeed beautiful and miraculous when you start putting your ideas into action. For a lot of people, the midwife is a mere podcast or a mere community. But for me, the midwife is a daily reminder to my younger self of all that I'm capable of all that I can do if I believe in myself. A daily reminder to keep growing because I am getting closer to the person I want to be, one day at a time. What I know for sure is that I sold myself short for a very long time in my life. What I know for sure is that many of us at this age sell ourselves short because of how people see us, label us, limit us. And then we often surrender to their voices. And we let go of that greater version that could have come to us had we not let go of that. What I know for sure is that had I surrendered to those voices and to those beliefs that I was a Dumbo, I would have lost my own voice and my own authenticity. I've come to realize that the magic wand is often in our own hands, but we still assume that the power is with them. I've come to realize that your present self, your present actions, and your present thoughts are the votes you put into your future ballot self. Simple as that. Thank you so much.